I am your blood and your end. The words leave the hooded figure's mouth, and instantly the twin sons of Krypton Prime vanish behind a black halo. The sky bleeds red. Every shadow in the city detaches from its owner and begins to move on its own. Krypton Prime, a sprawling alien metropolis of glass towers, neon rivers, and hovering highways, has fallen silent. Inside the central sky dome, an alien opera is underway. Without warning, every hollow screen in the hall bursts into black static. Through the distortion, a voice whispers, "Blood calls to blood." The lights flicker. A Kryptonian child's eyes begin to leak black liquid. Its body twists at impossible angles, bones snapping, until it bursts into a cloud of shadow mist. Panic erupts. The mist seeps into fleeing civilians, turning their skin gray and their eyes into glowing voids. In unison, they speak. The house of El must bleed. From the heavens, a blazing comet tears through the atmosphere. It shatters open to reveal Superman, Kal-El, last son of the House of El, clad in advanced Kryptonian battle armor, veins of blue graviton energy pulsing beneath the plates. His evolved gift, the ability to manipulate graviton veins, invisible cosmic threads that bind all matter. With a single gesture, he compresses the shadow mist into a glowing sphere. The sphere trembles violently, as if something alive is trapped inside. Forensic drones scan the sphere. The result freezes Superman in place. The mist carries his own blood signature. Impossible! There's no one left in my bloodline. Every comm tower on the planet is hijacked. A glitching silhouette appears on every screen. The voice is deep, distorted, and painfully familiar. Kal-El, you will fight your own blood, and you will lose. Across the city, another wave of killings begins. Families turn on each other in uncontrollable rage. Security feeds show shadows walking free of their bodies. Superman lands on a burning rooftop, scanning the chaos. His AI assistant pings urgently. "Sir, culprit identified. DNA match, 100% Kryptonian. Identity, David Superman." Kal-El's heartbeat slows. "David, my cousin? How?" "He's alive." The AI cuts in. "And he wants your heart." A memory flashes, Krypton before its fall. David, sparring with him in the training fields, laughing, challenging. Then the blinding explosion, and David's face swallowed by shadow. The ground shakes violently. A massive tear rips open the sky, space itself splitting apart. From it emerges a colossal shadow hand, crushing an entire hover district. Screams echo, warped into a single, unified voice. Inside the rift stands David Superman, black Kryptonian armor, fractured house of El crest, a blazing black crown on his head, eyes like twin voids. "I am the true heir, Kal-El," he declares. "You are just a survivor. I am your end." Superman rockets toward him, sonic booms trailing. David steps forward, and a swarm of shadow beasts blocks the path, each wearing the face of a different Kryptonian, some friends, some family. Kal-El's graviton threads whip through them, shredding their forms. Each time one dies, a high-pitched scream fades into the void. One beast slips into his armor. His vision blurs, and suddenly he's in the Kryptonian Council chamber, watching David's trial. The Council exiles him to the Shadow Realm for treason. David's eyes burn with rage. Kal-El rips the beast from his body and hurls it into the sky. But the thought is planted, David isn't just a villain, he's my blood. "Sir," the AI breaks in. Southern sector, mass shadow fusion detected. If it completes, the entire district will become a living organism. Superman dives. Below, buildings melt into each other. Streets pulse like living flesh. And at the center beats a massive, organic heart. He drives his graviton threads deep into the planet's core, triggering a gravitational implosion that crushes the heart. Before it dies, it screams directly into his mind, "You can't kill me. You are my creation." He collapses on a rooftop. HUD flashing. 72 hours until total eclipse lock. When the countdown hits 0, the AI warns the suns will remain eclipsed forever. The Shadow Realm will be permanently open. And David's motive? Kal-El asks. Your heart, the AI replies. The source of your graviton veins. Without it, he cannot complete his immortality. A voice behind him, and you won't stop him. Kal-El turns. A younger clone of David stands there, armor cracked, eyes glowing white. I'm his messenger, the clone says. And I'm here to break you first. Before Superman can react, a gravitational pulse vaporizes the entire block. When the dust clears, only a crater remains, and Superman kneeling at its center, armor half melted, breath ragged. The clone leans in and whispers, 72 hours, then you too will be one. The rising tension. The blood-red eclipse hangs heavy over Neo-Krypton Prime. The twin suns remain locked behind the black halo, their light smothered. The city's neon rivers have turned into sluggish, oily black streams. Hover highways are deserted. The air feels thick, as if the planet itself is holding its breath. Superman stands on the jagged edge of a collapsed spire, his cape torn and fluttering in the hot wind. His armor is cracked from the earlier blast, blue graviton energy leaking in faint pulses. The AI's last words still echo in his mind. Culprit identified. DNA match, 100% Kryptonian. Identity, David Superman. His fists clench inside his gauntlets. The graviton threads woven into his suit hum in response, vibrating like taut wires ready to snap. Flashback, Krypton's training fields. Two young men spar in the golden light of the twin suns. Kal-El moves with precision, but David is faster, unpredictable, his strikes carrying a wild edge. You're the golden boy of the House of El, David says between blows, but I'm the one who deserves the throne. Kal-El laughs it off, but there's a flicker of something in David's eyes. Resentment, deep and old. Then the memory fractures into the blinding explosion of Krypton's last day, and David's face swallowed by shadow. Back in the present, Kal-El activates his comms. Trace the curse signal. I want its origin. The AI's voice glitches, distorted by interference. Origin unstable. Signal is broadcasting from 13 locations simultaneously, as if the source exists in multiple places at once. Kal-El's mind flashes with an image, a battlefield under a shattered moon, and David, older, darker, wearing a black crown, his eyes twin voids. He drops from the spire into the ruins of the central sky dome. The once grand hall is littered with bodies, but their shadows are still moving, crawling across the floor like living things. One shadow detaches completely from its host and lunges at him. Kal-El snaps a graviton thread from the air and lashes it forward, freezing the shadow mid-leap. Even immobilized, its mouth moves. Blood must answer blood. Archive search, Kal-El orders. Kryptonian genetic records. Any missing bloodline members? The AI hesitates. There's a classified file. Access level. Founder seal. Kal-El unlocks his chest plate, pressing his palm to the core. His heartbeat code pulses through the armor. The file opens. Record. House of El. Subject DL status. Exiled. Note. Banished for treason. Last seen entering the Shadow Rift. Kal-El's breath catches. David, what did you do? The ground shudders violently. Above, the sky tears open, a massive rift splitting the fabric of space. From it, a colossal shadow hand emerges, crushing an entire hover district in its grip. Screams echo, but they're warped, merging into a single, unified voice. Inside the rift stands David Superman. Black Kryptonian armor clings to him like a living shadow. The House of El crest on his chest is fractured, glowing faint red. A black crown blazes on his head, shadow flames licking the air. His eyes are pits of darkness. I'm the true heir, Kal-El. David's voice booms across the city. You are just a survivor. I am your end. Kal-El rockets upward, sonic booms trailing. David steps forward from the rift, and a swarm of shadow beasts pours out to meet him. Each beast wears the face of a different Kryptonian, some friends, some family, their features twisted in agony. Kal-El's graviton threads whip through them, slicing their forms apart. Each time one dies, a high-pitched scream fades into the void. But one beast slips through, phasing into his armor. His vision blurs. Suddenly, he's standing in the Kryptonian council chamber. David is there, bound in graviton chains, accused of treason. The council's verdict: exile to the Shadow Realm. David's eyes burn with rage and betrayal. Kal-El snaps back to the present, ripping the beast from his body and hurling it into the sky. But the thought is planted: David isn't just a villain, he's my blood. Sir, the AI cuts in urgently. Southern sector, mass shadow fusion detected. If it completes, the entire district will become a living organism. Kal-El dives toward the sector. Below, the sight is nightmarish. Buildings melt into each other, streets pulse like living flesh, and at the center beats a massive organic heart. He drives his graviton threads deep into the planet's core, triggering a gravitational implosion that crushes the heart. Before it dies, it screams directly into his mind: "You can't kill me. You are my creation." He collapses on a rooftop, gasping, HUD flashing. 72 hours until total eclipse lock. When the countdown hits 0, the AI warns the suns will remain eclipsed forever. The Shadow Realm will be permanently open. And David's motive? Kal-El asks. Your heart, the AI replies. The source of your graviton veins. Without it, he cannot complete his immortality. A voice behind him, and you won't stop him. Kal-El turns. A younger clone of David stands there, armor cracked, eyes glowing white. I'm his messenger, the clone says, and I'm here to break you first. Before Kal-El can react, the clone unleashes a gravitational pulse that vaporizes the entire block. When the dust clears, only a crater remains, and Superman kneeling at its center, armor half-melted, breath ragged. The clone leans in and whispers, 72 hours, then you too will be one. The war begins. The 72-hour countdown ticks relentlessly in Kal-El's HUD. 69 hours, 58 minutes, and 12 seconds. The blood-red eclipse has deepened, the black halo around the twin suns now pulsing like a living wound in the sky. Neo-Krypton Prime is no longer a city, it's a war zone. Glass towers lean at impossible angles, their surfaces crawling with shadow veins. Neon rivers have turned into black sludge, reflecting nothing but the crimson sky. Every few seconds, a distant scream cuts through the air, only to be swallowed by the oppressive silence that follows. Superman hovers above the ruins, scanning for David's energy signature. The AI's voice is tight, urgent. Sir, gravitational anomalies are spiking across all sectors. He's destabilizing the planet's core. Kal-El's jaw tightens. Then we end this now. A tremor shakes the ground. From the heart of the city, a massive obsidian throne rises, pulled from the bedrock by unseen forces. Sitting upon it is David Superman, black Kryptonian armor fused with living shadow, the fractured house of El Crest glowing faint red on his chest. The black crown on his head burns with shadow flame, tendrils of darkness writhing in the air around him. Kal-El, David calls, his voice amplified by the very air. You've had your time. Now the true heir takes his place. Kal-El rockets forward, sonic booms trailing in his wake. David rises from the throne, stepping into the air as if the laws of gravity no longer apply to him. The moment they collide, the impact sends a shockwave that shatters every remaining window in the city. The force ripples through the streets, toppling what's left of the hover towers. David strikes first, a black graviton spear forming in his hand, its surface swirling with screaming faces. He hurls it with lethal precision. Kal-El twists mid-air, the spear grazing his shoulder, tearing through armor and flesh. Pain flares white-hot, but he channels it, snapping a graviton thread to dissolve the weapon before it can return. Below, the Shadow Army surges forward, thousands of twisted forms, each bearing the face of a Kryptonian long dead. They move like a single organism, their steps in perfect unison. Kal-El dives into them, graviton threads lashing out like whips, slicing through shadow flesh. Each kill releases a burst of black mist that tries to seep into his armor. David descends behind him, slamming a fist into the ground. The street buckles, then flips upward like a wave, hurling debris and warriors alike into the air. Kal-El is caught in the blast, slammed into the side of a collapsing tower. "You can't win, cousin," David says, hovering above the chaos. "Every second you fight me, the core destabilizes further. Soon, this planet will be mine, alive, breathing, and loyal only to me." Kal-El wipes blood from his mouth. "You're killing millions for your obsession." "I'm saving Krypton," David snaps. "You just don't have the will to do what's necessary." They clash again, this time high above the city. Kal-El's white graviton energy collides with David's black storm. The two forces grinding against each other, creating a sphere of pure annihilation between them. Lightning arcs from the collision point, striking the ruins below and igniting what's left of the skyline. The AI cuts in. "Warning, gravitational singularity forming. If it collapses, the city will be erased." Kal-El pushes harder, forcing David back. But David smirks and lets go. The sudden release sends Kal-El tumbling backward, the singularity imploding behind him and sucking an entire district into nothingness. Kal-El steadies himself, fury burning in his chest. He dives, catching David in a tackle that sends them both crashing through the remains of the central sky dome. They smash through walls, alien statues, and shattered holograms, finally skidding to a halt in the Hall of Ancestors. The hall's walls are lined with towering crystalline pillars, each containing a holographic projection of a house of El Ancestor. As the cousins rise to their feet, the holograms flicker and then twist into monstrous versions of themselves, their faces melting into shadow. They step down from their pedestals, surrounding Kal-El. David watches with satisfaction. "Our bloodline judges you now." The first ancestor strikes, its hand passing through Kal-El's armor like smoke, freezing the muscle beneath. Another lashes out, claws raking across his chest plate. Kal-El fights back, graviton threads slicing through the apparitions, but each one he destroys reforms instantly. David steps forward, his crown blazing. "You can't kill what you are, Kal. You are House of El, and House of El belongs to me." Kal-El lunges, grabbing David by the crest and slamming him into a pillar. The crystal shatters, releasing a burst of light that momentarily drives back the shadows. David snarls, shadow flames erupting from his armor, forcing Kal-El to release him. They trade blows at blinding speed, each strike sending shockwaves through the hall. Kal-El's fists glow with white graviton energy, David's with black. When their punches meet, the air itself screams. Suddenly, David vanishes in a swirl of shadow. Kal-El spins, searching, but the attack comes from above. David drops from the ceiling, driving both feet into Kal-El's chest, sending him crashing through the floor into the chamber below. Kal-El lands hard, the impact cracking the obsidian tiles. Above, David hovers in the hole, looking down at him. "You're not ready for what's coming, cousin. But you will be when you're part of me." He raises a hand, and the shadows in the room surge toward Kal-El like a tidal wave. Kal-El braces, graviton threads flaring to life around him in a protective sphere. The shadows slam into it, wrapping around, squeezing. The sphere begins to crack. The AI's voice is faint through the interference. Core destabilization at 47%. If it reaches 60%, planetary collapse is irreversible. Kal-El roars, forcing every ounce of power into the threads. The sphere explodes outward, blasting the shadows back and hurling David into a wall. Kal-El launches himself upward, smashing through the hole and into the open air. The city stretches out below, burning, broken, and crawling with shadow. Above, the eclipse pulses faster like a heartbeat. Kal-El knows If he doesn't stop David soon, there will be nothing left to save. David rises from the rubble, crown blazing brighter than ever. Round one's over, cousin. Now, we see who's truly worthy. They charge at each other, the sky tearing open around them. The dark truth. The countdown in Kal-El's HUD blinks relentlessly. 48 hours. The blood-red eclipse has not shifted for days. The black halo around the twin suns pulses like a heartbeat, each throb sending a faint tremor through the planet. Neo-Krypton Prime is no longer just dying, it's transforming. Kal-El drags himself from the rubble of their last clash. His armor is fractured, graviton veins flickering erratically. The air tastes metallic, heavy with shadowed dust. Somewhere in the distance, the sound of chanting rises. Thousands of voices speaking in perfect unison, blood to blood, crown to crown. He follows the sound through the ruins until he reaches a structure he's never seen before. A colossal, half-buried hall of black crystal. The AI's voice crackles through static. Warning, this location is not on any planetary map. Energy readings are ancient. Kal-El pushes open the massive doors. Inside, the air is cold and still. Towering crystalline pillars line the walls, each etched with Kryptonian glyphs so old they predate the house of El itself. At the center of the hall stands a massive crystal sarcophagus, its surface glowing faintly. The inscription across it makes his breath catch. David E.L. Impossible, he whispers. David's alive? Why would there be a tomb? The AI hums uneasily. Sir, this hall is a memorial. It was sealed before Krypton's fall. There's a record here, a prophecy. Kal-El touches the sarcophagus. The crystal flares, and a holographic figure appears, an elder of the ancient council. One day, a son of the House of El will fall to his own blood. That blood will either end Krypton forever or bring it back at a terrible cost. The floor trembles. Shadows seep from the cracks, coiling around the pillars. From the darkness, David Superman steps forward. His black crown burns brighter than ever, his eyes twin abysses. You finally found it, David says, voice echoing unnaturally. The truth they hid from you. Kal-El squares his stance. What truth? David raises a hand. A graviton thread lashes out, striking Kal-El's chest. The world around them dissolves. Memory realm, a vision of Krypton before its destruction. David stands before the council, not in chains, but in defiance. The Shadow Realm holds the power to save Krypton, he tells them. We can draw its energy, rebuild our world. The council's faces are grim. The Shadow Realm corrupts all who touch it. We will not risk our people. Kal-El watches as the council votes. David is exiled, not for treason, but for refusing to abandon his plan. They called me a traitor, David's voice echoes in Kal-El's mind. But I was the only one willing to do what had to be done. The vision shifts, centuries in the Shadow Realm. David's body changes, his armor fusing with living darkness, his mind sharpened into something colder, harder. I learned to control the shadows. I learned to bend them to my will. And I learned that Krypton could be reborn if I had the right key. The scene snaps back to the present. David's gaze locks on Kal-El. That key is your heart. Your graviton veins are the purest in our bloodline. With them, I can anchor Krypton's rebirth into this reality. Kal-El's voice is low, dangerous. You'd sacrifice billions for a dead world. I'd sacrifice anything, David replies without hesitation. Because Krypton isn't dead to me. And you're living the life that should have been mine. The shadows in the hall begin to move. The holograms of their ancestors flicker, then twist into monstrous forms. Towering, skeletal figures with eyes like burning coals. They step down from their pedestals, surrounding Kal-El. Our bloodline judges you now, David says, his crown blazing. The first ancestor strikes, its hand phasing through Kal-El's armor, freezing the muscle beneath. Another rakes claws across his chest plate, sparks flying. Kal-El fights back, graviton threads slicing through the apparitions, but each one reforms instantly, their whispers filling his mind. Join him. Complete the blood. David steps closer, his voice almost gentle. You can't kill me, cousin. You can't even kill them. The only way this ends is with you giving me what I need, or watching everything burn. Kal-El's grip tightens on his threads. If I give you my heart, you'll destroy everything. No, David says, I'll save Krypton, and you'll live forever as part of me. The shadows close in, their cold touch seeping into Kal-El's bones. The AI's voice is faint through the interference. Core destabilization at 58%. If it reaches 60%, planetary collapse is irreversible. David leans in, his voice a whisper only Kal-El can hear. Choose, cousin, your blood or your code. The final showdown. Countdown, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, 1 hour, until total eclipse lock. The sky above Neo-Krypton Prime is a wound in reality. The twin suns completely devoured by the black halo, the eclipse pulsing faster now, like the heartbeat of some colossal beast. The planet groans under the strain. Streets buckle, towers lean and collapse. The air is thick with shadow dust, every breath tasting of iron and ash. Kal-El stands on the fractured roof of the last intact spire, his armor scorched, graviton veins flickering erratically. Below, the city is gone, replaced by a living, breathing shadow organism that stretches to the horizon. And at its center, on a throne of fused bone and crystal, sits David Superman. David rises slowly, the black crown blazing with shadow flame. It's time, cousin, he calls, his voice carrying across the battlefield without wind. Your heart, or their lives. Kal-El's fists tighten. You'll kill them either way. No, David says, stepping forward, I'll give them purpose. They'll be part of Krypton's rebirth. You can't see it now, but you will when you're part of me. Kal-El launches himself forward, sonic booms cracking the air. David meets him mid-sky, and their collision sends a shockwave that rips the clouds apart. White graviton energy and black shadow force grind against each other, creating a sphere of annihilation between them. Lightning arcs from the clash, striking the ground and igniting the shadow flesh below. David's strikes are relentless, each blow carrying the weight of centuries of rage. Kal-El counters with precision, his graviton threads weaving shields and spears in the same breath. They move faster than the eye can follow, the battle a blur of light and darkness tearing through the sky. You were never meant to be the heir, David snarls, locking Kal-El's arm. The council made you to replace me. You're living my life. Then take it, Kal-El growls, headbutting him, if you can. They crash into the ground, carving a crater miles wide. The living city recoils, screaming in 1,000 voices. David rises first, summoning a black graviton storm, a swirling vortex of shadow blades and screaming faces. Kal-El answers with a white graviton core, the light so bright it burns the shadows away in its path. The two forces slam together, the impact shaking the planet's crust. The AI's voice cuts through the chaos. Core destabilization at 95%. Collapse imminent. Kal-El knows what that means. If the core goes, the shadow realm will merge with this reality permanently. Billions will die, or worse, be absorbed. David steps through the clash, his armor cracked, but his crown blazing brighter than ever. One choice, cousin. Give me your heart, and Krypton lives again. Refuse, and everything dies. Kal-El's breath is ragged. His mind flashes with images. Krypton's golden towers, his parents, the training fields with David before the bitterness set in. And then the faces of the people here, now, who will be lost if he fails. If I give you my heart, Kal-El says slowly, you'll win. We'll win, David corrects. Together. Kal-El closes his eyes for a fraction of a second. When they open, they burn with white graviton light. Then neither of us wins. He drives his graviton veins inward, overloading them. The energy builds instantly, his armor cracking, the ground beneath them fracturing. David's eyes widen. You wouldn't. I would, Kal-El says, if it stops you. The overload detonates. A supernova of white and black graviton energy erupts, swallowing the throne, the living city, the sky itself. The shockwave tears through the planet, ripping the eclipse apart. For a heartbeat, there is only blinding light. Then silence. The dust settles over a vast crater where the city once stood. At its center lies the fractured black crown, still faintly glowing, and beside it a figure. The silhouette is unmistakable. Kryptonian build, cape torn, armor scorched. But when it lifts its head, the eyes are not white. They're pitch black. The figure smiles faintly. Blood never dies, it just changes form.